Welcome to FNaF News. I'm your host, the TNT Muffin. Today we're going to be talking about Youtooz, the FNaF movie, Hex, Help Wanted 2, and more. Now, starting off with the Youtooz news, Youtooz has just revealed a small look at a Doug figure, the character from the FNaF movie. If you haven't seen the movie yet, Doug is a lawyer in the film, and he's become a bit of a meme because he always looks terrified. So it seems like Youtooz is going to be making a figure of him. I assume they're also going to be making other movie figures as well, but I'm not sure what exactly. What I'm hoping for is, I think it would be really cool if they had a figure of somebody inside of that stuffing machine, or maybe, you know, Carl getting eaten by the cupcake. Those could be pretty cool, but we'll have to wait and see what they do. They've also said that the Anim Dude figure that they're working on is apparently going to be coming out next year. They would have released it earlier, but they just couldn't fit it into any waves, so they haven't released it yet. They also did a TikTok recently, and in the background you can actually see a small view of the Glitch Trap figure as well as the art for the Grim Foxy figure. Glitch Trap, from what we can see, looks pretty good, and Grim Foxy, he looks very detailed. I don't think the fire looks that good on him, but I'm not sure if this is the final design or not. Either way, I think it'll look really cool as a figure. And they also released another video showing off the sitting down Pop Goes plush. I think it looks pretty good. It's the same style as that long version of Pop Goes, except as a normal plush. He's got all the right details, and I think he looks pretty good. Although I will say I did actually like the prototype version better. I felt like the eyes looked more like Pop Goes eyes actually look, and it also, you know, made it more different from the long version, because now they're a little bit too similar in my opinion. But it's still very cool, and I'm definitely gonna pick it up. And you may have noticed that in this video we can also see an Anim Dude plush. I didn't even know they were making this, but apparently along with the Anim Dude figure, they're making an Anim Dude plush. From what we can see of it, I think it looks really good. You know, it's made completely out of cubes, just like Anim Dude is in the game, and I really like it. I'm curious to see what the face looks like. I really hope they don't give it Youtooz eyes, because Anim Dude doesn't have eyes. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Next piece of news, I think most of you have probably heard, but I'll still mention it just in case some of you haven't, but Youtooz has just released their Ruin Wave. So they released a bunch of figures, which are Ruin Monty, Ruin Roxy, Eclipse, The Mimic, and Mexies. I think they all look really good. I think they killed it with this wave of figures. They're all very detailed and very accurate to the games. I think Mexies is honestly probably the best FNaF figure they've made so far. Also, you may have noticed I didn't say anything about Ruin Glamrock Chica, because they did actually reveal the design for it, but people didn't like it because, you know, it's not the best in the world, so they are actually going to redesign it and release it later on. Along with the figures, they also released a line of Ruin plushies. The plushies here are, as you can see, Eclipse, Ruin Roxy, Glamrock Bonnie, and Helpy. I think the plushies look alright. There is a lot of printed on color on a lot of them. Glamrock Bonnie, Eclipse, and Roxy have a bunch of printed on color on them. The only one that doesn't is Helpy, and he looks a little bit goofy. They're not too bad though. I do actually like all these plushies, and it's pretty cool to be getting our first Glamrock Bonnie merch. Also, a little bit before this wave, they released another wave of plushies, which it's not too interesting. It's just sitting down versions of the FNaF 1 characters as plushies, and then also like a little laying down Freddy shoulder rider. And then the pretty cool thing is they made a cupcake plush, which is a foot tall. I'm pretty excited about the cupcake plush. I think that's going to be really cool, and I think it looks pretty good. On the topic of merch, FYE has just released a new drink like this Roxy Cola, except this time it's not actually a fizzy fizz, and instead is an energy drink. Unfortunately, the branding is pretty boring. It's not actually something from in-game. It's just this Security Breach poster on a can. It's called the Security Breach Night Watch drink, and it's a cherry lime flavor. Still pretty cool though. I am interested to see how that tastes. Cherry lime sounds like an interesting flavor. And speaking of Security Breach, we just got a new trailer for Help Wanted 2. I won't show the whole thing, but we did get a bunch of gameplay revealed in this, showing some stuff from Security Breach, some stuff from FNaF 6, and a lot of completely new content. From what we've seen out of Help Wanted 2, almost all of the stuff we've gotten is completely new content. There's some stuff that's just reused from the past, like the sister location stuff, but everything else we've seen so far is just completely new. Also, PlayStation has put out a blog here which gives us some good information. First of all being that the game's releasing December 14th. So we know the game's coming in less than 3 weeks, which is awesome. Some information we've got here is we got to know all of the categories, you know, like the little menu options for the games that are going to be in this. There's going to be backstage, Fazcade, staff only, food prep, ticket booth, and a special category containing new VR versions of Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location gameplay. And there's also apparently a PSVR exclusive mini-game called Mystic Hippo. The blog here has a lot of information on the game, you know, explaining what the levels are gonna be, or at least the ones that we saw. I'm not gonna get too in-depth about it. Honestly, I don't want to spoil myself too much before playing the game, but if you do want to check that out, I'll put a link to the trailer and this blog in the description. Also, we just finally got revealed the Help Wanted 2 poster. I think it looks super cool. As you can see, it is similar to the original poster, but it is a lot different. It's got a bunch of characters from Sister Location and Security Breach, because those are the main things that are gonna be in Help Wanted 2. And I think it looks really cool. We've also gotten some news on the Joy of Creation Ignited collection. Nixon has posted some images showing some models from the game, like Ignited Bonnie and this Ignited Cupcake, which look wild. Bonnie's got what looks like a human jaw, and the cupcake's completely covered in teeth. Both very interesting design choices. I think they look pretty dope. He also showed us a jump scare for Withered Bonnie, as well as some gameplay footage. I think it all looks great, and I'm very excited for the game to release. And Nixon also just posted another clip of the Ignited Foxy jump scare, which I think looks really cool. Now we've actually got some news on the FNaF movie. First of all, about the DVD version of it. So we know that a DVD version of the FNaF movie is gonna be coming out with some bonus content, and apparently there's gonna be a version of it with a steelbook. Some huge news here. It just got announced that the second FNaF movie is gonna be filming next year. That's insane to me. I didn't think they'd be filming the second movie this soon after the first one released. You know, we don't know when exactly in 2024, but 2024 is only a month from now, so it's gonna be somewhat soon, I guess. Yeah, that's crazy, and it actually kind of opens up the possibility that the movie could release next year, because, you know, the FNaF 1 movie was filmed early 2023, and it was released towards the end of 2023. So could that happen again with this movie? I'm not so sure, but it could happen, I guess. But yeah, I'm very excited for that to happen, and I guess soon enough we're going to be getting some news on the FNaF 2 movie. We also got this image showing an early concept for the Spring Bonnie suit. I do think the one they actually did in the movie looks a bit better, but this is still really cool to be seeing. And then we also have a bunch of information on cut content from the movie. There's a lot of stuff to read out here, but I will read it. So one thing is, after the night guard in the opening scene was attacked, instead of seeing him in the torture device, we saw a sequence of him being dragged down the hallway to his death while zoning in and out. Also, they used Foxy's original hum for his scenes, unsure why they replaced it. Number 2, Max brought her dog to Mike's house while babysitting. 3, the training tape was originally 30 seconds longer, showing the animatronics performing to talking in your sleep. I think that would have been awesome to see, but unfortunately it did get cut. Number 4, Max and Mike had a longer interaction after Mike got home from work after the first night, mainly Max talking about her love for Abby and hopes for a good life. 5, during night 2, Mike ended up looking through the office before going to sleep. He found a stack of cassette tapes. He went through all of them, each of them being a segment of a news report about the missing children at Freddy's. That would have been really cool to see. I don't know why they cut that. I think that would have been very interesting and a very cool moment in the movie, so that's pretty unfortunate. Number 6, that dog that Max brought was in the car with Max outside of Freddy's. 7, Carl getting his face eaten was a way longer sequence. The whole vandalizing sequence was. Number 8, before Bonnie exited the closet, Bonnie grabbed his neck and pinned him against the wall, kind of sliding him upwards with his hand. That's talking about Hank. 9, Max originally asked if the kid was okay while following him to Freddy. While following the kid, she had to gather herself, but kept on pushing. She looked through the animatronics beside Freddy before grabbing the chair. When the hand reached out towards her, we saw her scream and fall backwards before getting pulled into the mouth. So that sequence was just a little longer and they shortened it a bit. Number 10, when Mike tried to confront Vanessa before Abby touched the guitar, Vanessa began to rant about how he cannot and never will find the guy who killed Garrett. During the scene where Vanessa is revealed to be William's daughter, we see flashes of children screaming in a dim area. Young Vanessa is seen watching the whole thing happen at times, and though you never see him directly, excluding the outline of his hands or something, William is the one committing the murders. That's another thing I think would have been really cool to see, William actually killing the 5 missing kids. Not sure why they cut that. Number 12, Golden Freddy originally jump-scared Aunt Jane, knocking her cold to the ground. This was an incredibly quick sequence. 13, when Abby is hiding in the arcade from Foxy, right before Foxy finds her spot, she grabs a shard of glass from off the broken arcade and throws it across the room. Foxy ends up looking away and she runs to the ball pit, watching him before going in. Number 14, instead of running out of the kitchen calling for Abby, Garrett originally led Mike out of the kitchen and ran into the archway leading to the exit, which William walked out of. Similar to the Foxy transition before Abby goes into the arcade. Number 15, William seemed like he was in a lot more agony during the spring locking, even screaming in agony after putting on the mask. I think that also would have been pretty cool in the movie. William didn't show off too much pain from the spring locks, which is a bit weird because, man, that would be really painful. But I still think it worked pretty well. A lot of this stuff would have been really cool to see in the movie, so I'm not sure why so much of it was cut. There's also this thing here saying an old version of what the ending was going to be. So this is about Afton getting killed at the end. So it says, he turns to flee, but a swing from Bonnie's guitar sends him to his knees. Then Freddy is upon him, prying open the mouth of his suit as Chica drops her cupcake inside. What sounds like a meat grinder can be heard as the man in the yellow rabbit suit screams and begins to violently convulse. I will say I think the ending that we actually got sounds cooler because, you know, the spring lock scene's iconic. Although it would be pretty sick to see Bonnie bang him with a guitar and knock him to the ground and pry his mouth open. I think that sounds cool, but I think the spring lock was better. But that's all the news we have today. If you want to subscribe, you can click the button on top of my head. If you want to watch one of my last news videos, you can click that button over there. And if you want to see some other video I made, you can click that button over there. And I'll see you when we get some more news on FNaF stuff. We had a lot of news.